Back!
And we're bringing back.
And the Levium ain't here to greet you.
And we're back. And we're back. Another Heliga SuperChullin, number 103, in the schus of the captives, in the schus of the soldiers, in the schus of the yeshiva, in the schus of the family. We should come together, Am Yisrael and humanity. We should come together and continue learning the sweet, sweet Torah. We are on, and we're back.
I just had to do that because I don't know. Did I say and we're back before?
And
We're back.
we're back.
We're good. Let's go.
Steigen da.
This will be chat for Facebook, YouTube. Will appear here for
Amazing.
26 seconds. It'll pop up, and here will be all the Instagram joiners and commenters.
Okay. Shkayach to Young Beck. Young Gabardine.
Gaberdizzle.
Young Gabardizzle. Over here. So we are on the bottom of Chulin 27b. And the Gemara says as follows. Amar Rav Yehuda Mishum Rav Yitzchak ben Pinchas. Says Rav Yehuda, in the name of Rav Yitzchak ben Pinchas. Great name. You don't get a lot of Yitzchaks, don't get a lot of Pinchases, but boy, is the market oversaturated with Bens. Yitzchak ben Pinchas says, Ein shchita le'of min atayra.
Oh.
Ein shchita le'of min atayra. There is no shechting for a bird deoraisa. Very interesting. Very interesting. We know the sugya is a bird fleshix deoraisa, or is it just parav? And I mean, everyone knows it's parav. Everyone knows. We have to learn it in the sugya, but that seems to be a bavasta thing in the Welt. You know, obviously we don't go, oh, since I know something right? Rebbe once taught me that it was parav. Yeah, me too. Rebbe taught me it was parav, but let's see what the Gemara says. So here is could be our first inclination. This could be our first inclination that there's an opinion of Rav Yitzchak ben Pinchas that we said we don't really hear much of him. Could be because he said this pshat and everyone was like, we disagree. You know? But he says that deoraisa, you don't have to shecht a bird. It's like maybe it's like a fish.
Wow.
And a grasshopper.
Wow.
Maybe that's what Rav Yitzchak ben Pinchas thinks. Itchy Pinkus?
Great name.
Itchy Pinkusin. Shenemar v'shafach b'shvicha be'alma sagi. So what does it say by bird? It says v'ish ish mi b'nei Yisrael u'min ager agar b'saychav, and man from the sons of Israel, from the foreigner that lives amongst us, asher yatzud tseid chaya o'of, that he catches or he traps a animal or a bird, asher ye'achel, that can be eaten, v'shafach es damo, and you spill its blood, v'chisehu be'afar, and you cover it with dirt, a mitzvah that all three of us were able to mekayim this week. We mentioned that we all three of us got haircuts. Here, come take a look. Shalom Aleichem. Rebbe's in Shlita. How are you? Good to see you, Steigen da. And we were also taking a look at the three gents that we all got haircuts. We all got haircuts this past week, just randomly, all three of us randomly. got haircuts. And all three of us randomly did this week have another thing in common, which is we all were zocha to do Kisoy Adam.
Oh, wow.
As did Ellie.
Wow,
As-
that's so interesting.
Yeah.
So interesting. We all got haircuts after we did it.
I got after. You got
too.
after?
All of us did a key so
Wow.
all three got haircuts.
It's crazy.
That's very strange. That's
We-
amazing.
It's amazing. We all got haircuts.
We
We,
got-
all did Kisoy Adam, and then we all did haircuts.
That's crazy. Amazing, bro.
Wild. Wow. So, what does it say in this pasuk I just read? It says, when you catch a bird and you spill its blood. So, what Rav Itchy Pincus wants to say is that b'shvicha ba'al masagi, it's enough to just spill its blood. You don't have to actually shecht it. Ihachi. So the Gemara says, well, if that's so, chayanami, that pasuk that you're saying didn't only say boyeds, it also said animals. And so if that's the case, then animals also you should only have to spill their blood. It doesn't say anything about a shchita. Idkish lipisule hamukdashin. Answers the Gemara, no, animal is compared to pisule hamukdashin. Okay, so then the Gemara says, I don't know what that means. And then the Gemara says, Ovnami itkish libehema. But a bird is compared to an animal. Tichsev zos toras habehema ve'aof. Remember we saw that pasuk?
Yeah.
And then it goes on to say, and all of the creatures in the water. And so we say, oh, what are we going to do with an oaf? Oh, we got to go to the medium, do the one. The mezuzah type pshara. What's it called when people shake on it and they make an agreement? They make a compromise.
Meeting of the minds.
Meeting of the minds. So they compromise. They say, well, we couldn't make it that it needs 2 because it was compared to a fish that needs 0. We couldn't make it need 0 because it's compared to a behemoth that needs 2. Okay, it's a 1er. So we said it's compared to that. But in the end of the day, it is written and spilled, and you spill its blood. B'may chazis d'shadiyale al of. My chazis, Zalman, Schlegs. Rebbetzin is an important concept in Shas. The good old my chazis. My chazis. What does it seem to you? You know, like chazon, to see. Who my chazis? You know, the Gemara talks about my chazis, the Sfar of my chazis in Sanhedrin and Parak. Ben Sorah Morad, the first parak that I learned really well, like in my life, I learned Ray Brownstein in 11th grade. In his 12th grade year, we were learning Sanhedrin. And we were learning Ben Sorah Morah. And we learned about that Sfar of my chazis. If someone is to bring over from over there, if someone asks, someone says, kill, right? Reuven says to Shimon, kill Levi or I'll kill you. What does Shimon have to do? Can't kill Levi. He has to let himself die. And the Sfar is my chazis. What does it seem to you, that your blood is redder than that guy's blood? Right? What does it seem to you that your blood is redder than that guy's blood? Neshama, and you can't kill him even to save your own life. So here the Gemara says, Umay chazis d'shadi alei aof. And what did it seem to you? You know, what did it seem to you? To throw it on a bird. Shadia achaya. Say that it's goat, right? Because he said the bird doesn't need shechita, it just needs spilling blood. They say no, but about the animal. And they say some shtickle of psulim mukdashim. They say no, we're talking about only one. Okay, so why do you say it's a bird? Why not say that it's on the animal? And again, obviously, we'll see with Rashi, get more shot, get clearer. Mistabra mishum disalik mine. It made sense that because since the bird was the second one mentioned, so the bird has the din that it's enough to just spill its blood and doesn't need to be slaughtered with the ritual halachic chulin shecht.
With the majority siman of one.
With the majority of one siman, yeah.
Oui.
Ovi. O va he. Okay. Meisvei, says the Gemara, I'll show you a challenge. Hashochet v'nisnabla biyado. So someone's shechting, and sometimes that's not good. Messes up, and it becomes a nevela. Nisnabla biyado. Hanocher. Do you remember what nocher is?
Like a nachri?
No.
Is it with a ches?
Yeah, with the ches. Nocher is with the chaf.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what nicherayim are? Nostrils.
Oh, nice.
So what's the nocher? Is the killing the animal from the nose down to the heart. What? Giraffe? The giraffe, yeah, it would be a really long nocher for the giraffe, you know. So if someone does that, me'aker, and I still think that me'aker is altering, is misplacing the one of the pipes, either the trachea or the esophagus.
Didn't we say it was stabbing?
Okay.
Well, didn't we say Equor was? Didn't you teach us that Equor was stabbing back? Oh, okay.
No, I didn't.
I made a mistake there. Sorry.
I'm still not a bazillion% sure on all the things. We're gonna go deeper into the sugya. We've mentioned them in passing. We know shehia draza chalada. I was saying it was like stabbing like into the animal, into the neck, but I'm not sure. Because we know there's another thing about chalada that the animal, that it has to be seen, the knife has to be seen. So I'm still trying to get clear exactly what hagrama and ikor and chalada and all of the five are, but we're just getting started and we're doing our best. But here it says me'aker. We'll see what Rashi says. Pater milikasos. Wow. If you do a improper shchita, you're pater from doing kisoy adam.
Makes sense.
Because the kisoy adam is only when there's a kosher shchita done. You know what they say about kisoy adam? If you want to get a haircut. But we all, and it must, okay. V'iyamart. No, but it could also be a din in the fact that Pesach's coming. And so it's correlation, causation problems. V'iyamart, and if you're going to say, Ein shchita le'aif min ha'teireh, and if you're going to tell me that there's no shchita to the poultry, to the bird from the Torah, nechiraso zoe shchitaso. So what's the problem? You do a little nechira, that's the same thing. That's the same shchita. The vai kisoy, you should need to do kisoy adam if you do that to a bird. And says the Gemara, mi savart be'of, lo bechaya. That's not talking about the kisoy adam that you messed up on the shchita of a bird. It's talking about the kisoy adam that you messed up on a behemoth. Tashma.
Come in here.
Tashma.
Come and listen.
Hashaychet v'tzarich l'dam, tzarich l'chasais. So hashochet, someone who does shechting, shchita, and he needs the blood, you still have to cover it. What are we dealing with? Bill Clinton over here? He needs the blood? Jeffrey Epstein, Marina Abramovich? Do they need the blood? Jay-Z? Lady Gaga? You know, Achshama v'zichram. Ketzadu oseh. How does he do it? Ketzadu oseh. O nochro. So the way you can get around it, let's say you need blood, right? I don't know what you might need blood for. I do not know what we might need blood for. But he needs the blood. Okay. The guy needs blood. He has to cover it. So what happens? That's if you do the shchita. So what do? Oh, nochro. You do it shchita in improper way. Or okro. Okro here could be just maybe you cut off his head in any improper way. I don't know. My love be'oftika baile lidamie lianika. Are we not talking about a bird that we need to compare it to a yanika? Lo bechaya tikabaile lidame lilacha. I don't know either of those words, ladies and gentlemen. Tashma. Malak. But Tashma, even so, we learn in Tashma really means come in here. But Tashma, what are they bringing usually? A brisa, yeah. But I guess it could also here. I think it's a brisa, yeah. The big brisa. Tashma, come in here. This brisa. Malak, but here the red says Tashma, come in here. Tashma, come and listen. Malak b'sachi mitame begadim al beis habaliyah. Okay, so yeah, beis habaliyah. Malak b'sachin. If you did malika with the sachin, which we learned was not okay. You got to do malika with the finger, with the etzem of the kohen. So also works.
Or the teeth.
Teeth. Very good, Zalman. So you do malika. What if you use a knife? So it's mitame the big god in base of belief, meaning if you would then eat that bird, it's mitame when you eat it. We say that bird has a special bird that was improperly shot, has a special way of impurifying, special way of making the person who eats it is impure. But in the case where someone throws an animal down your throat, not tame, like a little bit of meat. But the bird, tame when you swallow it. But the animal is tame when you touch it. The bird's not. If you're going to say that there's not shchita la'if midaraisa, nehi, granted, nami, also, dechi tavar le, shidre, umifarekes, havila trefa, granted also that when you break the spine or the neck, havila trefa, it makes it a trefa. Tehani le sachin letara midei nevela. The knife should help purify it from it becoming a nevela. Who the Amar ki hai Tana. He's saying like this other Tana, the Tanya, because we learn in a right. So very good. Rabbi Elazar Hakapar Birebi Omer means Rabbi Elazar Hakapar, a big Talmud Chacham. You know where he lived? In the Golan, in Katzrin. I one time saw his base Knesses. They still have like some of the stones from his show. And the picture of the stone, one of these stones with like art from his base Knesses, from his base Medrash, was made into the Paroches and Chispin, the base measures there.
Wow.
And so that's Rabbi Lazar HaKapar. And they also call him Bar Kapara, maybe. I don't know. We got to see. We got to clarify because it might be Bar Kapara, maybe a different guy. Rabbi Lazar HaKapar says, and they say Berebi. That means he's like a big guy. What does the Talmud Lomar in Devarim when it says, but the way that you eat the tzvi and the ayo, kein tochalenu hatame v'hatar yachtav yochlenu, that's how you should eat it. Tame and tahor together should eat it. It's talking about chulin. But actually, I would love to see. Can you please get the chumash with the chumash outside, the Chamishah Chumshei Torah with the Rashi and the Ramban and the Unkelos. It's outside. I was just reading it outside. So thank you. Ach kasher yochal ez hatzvi v'chi ma lamadnu mitzvi v'ayo. What do we learn about tzvi v'ayo me'ata harei zeh ba l'lamed v'nimtza lamed? So it's coming to teach, and it's also, it turns out that it's learning about itself. Magish tzvi v'ayo l'psulei hamukdashim. Compare tzvi v'ayo shkach to besulei hamukdashim. Ma besulei hamukdashim b'shchita. So just like besulei hamukdashim, you shecht them. You don't bring them as a korban anymore. You just shecht them. Af tzvi v'ayo, so too animals, you do shchita to them. They're also b'shchita. Labriut. Ve'ov ein lo shchita midivrei Torah el midivrei seifrim. And the chicken doesn't have shchita deoraisa, only derabanan. Mantana de palig aleh de Rabbi Elazar HaKapar. Who is the guy who argues on Yair Kaepernick? Rebbe, who? It's Rebbe. Zalman, you know who we mean when we say Rebbe? Rivka, you know who we mean when we say Rebbe? The Rebbe who compiled the Mishnah. Very good. Rebbe Yehuda Nasi. So that's what we call Rebbe.
Only him.
Yeah. We're in the base measures, he's Rebbe. Now we also, in Am Yisrael, we have a few more. We have Harav Zatzal. Whenever anyone says Harav Zatzal, you know that's Rav Kook. Harav Zatzal. And we have the Rebbe. Is, it's like the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Rebbe. And those are the Rebbes. It's called Rebbe, the Rebbe. You know, but here is Rebbe. Rebbe Omer, Rebbe says, and we're in the context of Gemara, Mishnah, Rebbe Yehuda Nasi, Omer, v'zavachta kasher tivisicha, and you shechted like I commanded. That's Hashem saying there, right? Melamed shenitztave Moshe al haveshet v'halakana. Wow. What was one of the things that Moshe was up there learning on Har Sinai? Yeah, that Moshe Rabbeinu was commanded on the Veshet, on the...
Trachea?
No, what's Veshet? The other one.
Esophagus?
Yeah, and then Kana is... Trachea, yeah. Veshet is the food pipe, and Kana is the windpipe. V'al echad be'of. So Moshe Rabbeinu was commanded on the majority of one in a boid, v'al rov shnayim behema, and the majority of two in an animal. Ayin Rashi beperish hachomesh. V'zavachta kasher tivisicha. Lamadnu sheyesh tzivoy bezavicha There's a command. There's a vicha. Hechi yishcho. How to do it? Ve'hein hilcho shchita shenamru l'Moshe miSinai. And these are the halachas of shchita that Moshe, that the halacha of Moshe miSinai. So now, come let us see the Heliga Chumash. We got two psukim to see. One is in Devarim 12:22. Okay. Devarim 12:22. 12:22. Okay. Devarim Yud Beis Chaf Beis. Devarim Yud Beis Chaf Beis. I found it, you guys. Kasher yachel ez atzvi ve'ez ha'ayel kein tochlenu atame ve'atahor yachtav yochlenu. Okay. This is where we learn the mitzvah of shchita. Ki yarchiv Adonai Elohecha es gevulecha kasher diber lach ve'amarta ochla basar. We want to eat meat. Ki tava nafshecha lecho basar. Because you want to eat meat. B'kol avas nafshecha tocha basar. Permission to eat meat granted right here from the Eibishter. Ki yarchich mimcha hamakom asher yivchar Adonai Elohecha lashum shemo sham. Oh, the makom that Hashem chose to put His name there. Where is that? Har Bayis. And where else does it use that exact lashon? And it talks about where we do Korban Pesach. Even in the time when you were allowed to do a personal altar, Korban Pesach had to be an Har Bayis. Shenizka Ora Shana, Ezrat Hashem. But so what if it's so far? So you do it anywhere you want it, right? Ki yarchik, if it's far, you do it. In your gates, b'kol avas nafshecha. You know, see the gates. Every time we see the gates, we get a new shot in Ishes Chayo. It says Noda b'sharim ba'ala. They know him in the gates. He was the chef. Everyone knew him. He was the chef over there. That's where they were giving out the meat. That's where they're doing the public barbecues. Yes.
For bringing this Korban Pesach on the Temple Mount, what is the defining boundary of the Temple Mount? I would imagine.
We have to go into that sugya. All these sugyas need to be mevar.
My question is
the Rambam L'chayr says Azara, but we got to go into it. You got to do it in the Azara. It's like in the courtyard. I don't think it matters not having a Beis Hamikdash, not having a Mizbeach. You still have to bring Korban Pesach in the Makom, and it's not me'akev to have the stuff, but we got to look into the sugya.
We have to see if the courtyard, as it formerly was, is within what the boundaries of
the
Temple Mount.
Definitely have a sugya. Definitely have a sugya. That's a good kachim question. It's okay. Lo tochlenu atame v'ameshar tzviyo. Lo tochlenu atame v'ator. So everyone can eat it. This is chulin. So you don't have to be kodesh. You don't have to be tahor. Even you can be tameh. Rak chazak lebilti echol hadam ki hadam hu hanefesh. One of Shlig's favorite psukim. V'lo tochal hanefesh mebazar. And don't eat the spirit with the flesh. Don't eat the nefesh, the soul, the psyche. What are you gonna do? Eat the psyche with the meat? You gotta separate the meat from the milk and from the nefesh, also from the dam. It's very interesting. Now we know that Tertarians, they like to especially make their meat as bloody as they could. Lo tochlenu ala aretz tishbechenu kamayim. Don't eat it but spill it on the ground like water. Wow. Lo tochlenu, don't eat the blood. Why don't eat the blood? What does it say in Pasuk? Lema'an yitav lecha ulvanecha acharecha. Kitas ayashar b'nei Adonai. What does it say about kisei adam? Huge segula. Don't eat the blood, spill it on the ground in order so that it will be good for you and to your children after you. Ki ta'aseh hayashar b'nei Hashem, because you're doing the straight in the eyes of the Bayrei Olam of Hashem. Rak kadash shecha asher yulecha v'nidarecha tisa uvat al magum asher yivchar Hashem. So the kadshim and the neder, a person makes a neder, there you have to bring to the makom, to the harbayis that Hashem will choose. V'yasisa olosecha habasar ve'adam al mizbach Adonai Elohecha v'dam zivvachecha yishapech. So you do the korban, and you take the meat and the blood on the mizbeach of Hashem, and the blood of the korban you spill on the mizbeach, and the meat you eat. Shemor v'shamata eis kol dvarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavecha l'man yitav lach. Listen to all these things. I'm telling you, so it will be good for you and your children after you, ad olam, forever. Ki ta'aseh tov v'yashar b'nei Adonai Elohecha, because you're doing the good and the straight in the eyes of Hashem. Yeah.
Just reading Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, Torah on Parshas.
You want to come closer so they can hear your question?
I wanted to share that.
But if you're going to make comment, at least move a little closer so that it could be heard. You can say it while you're moving closer. Or you can just say what you're saying.
It's just,
Yeah, Jonathan Sachs.
yeah, on Parshas writes about this, the blood, we shouldn't eat any of the blood. He talks about it, but the Rambam says, and the Rambam says the different things.
Thank you. Yeah, Ayin Sham and Jonathan Sachs, thank you. It's a big sugya, and we were zocheh to do it. And now we're zocheh to learn about it. This is Parsha.
You saw Tzviva Ayel today also?
Yeah, we saw, I don't know, we saw, it's a Tzviv. Yeah, Av Tzviv Ayel B'Shrita. We saw it in the Gemara. Av Tzviv Ayel.
Shout out to Rabbi H. I think it's his birthday today.
Ah! It's the birthday of Tzviv Ayel of the Tzvial.
Oh.
Tzvial. Okay, so, so we go back, so that's the Gemara, and those are the Psukim, and now it is time to go through the Gemara again with the Rashi. And it's amazing that it's this week's Parsha of Kisei, even though we haven't seen a pasuk in this week's Parsha yet, but yeah, Kisei about Apar, Ve'ikri Yud, I don't know. I don't know about it being what the connection to this week's Parsha is. Rivka, if you have a pasuk, you can bring the pasuk. Amar Rav Yehuda Mishom Rav Yitzchak ben Pinchas. Says Rav Yehuda in the name of Rabbi Yitzchak, son of Pinchas. Ein shchita le'of min hatayra. There's no shchita to a bird from the Torah. Ein shchita le'aif min hatayra. Zok Rashi, ve'hekesha dezos Torah. And so the hekesh, remember, we saw opinion last week that bird is compared to animal, and they both need shchita from the tzavar. Maybe from the tzavar. But this is hekesha, because it says those Torahs, behema ve'aof. Behema l'malikas ha'of. That behema is compared to the malika of the oaf. Shedei shchitasa min hatzavar, that we learned that it's from the neck. The shchita is from the neck. Kedamin on the el, like we said above. Ve'afilu mi Torah sheba'al peh. And even midirabanan, or mitor, not midirabanan, sorry, but afilu from oral Torah, me'halacha l'Moshe miSinai, that it's halacha l'Moshe miSinai, ein lo. It's not halacha l'Moshe miSinai, which is a higher level than derabanan. Ein lo ela midivrei sofrim. It's only midirabanan. Ve'ein nivla za'ov karuya nevela. And the nevela of an ov is not called a nevela. Ela imkein mesa me'eleha. It's a dead animal, non-shechted chicken body, bird body, is not called a corpse, a nevela. Ela imkein mesa me'eleha. If it died just by itself, it was walking, then it went into an electric fence, let's say. Oh, harga b'maka, or if someone like punched it or hit it. Shelo al yedei simanim, without the proper shechita. Aval nechira, but the nose shecht, ikor, which I think means to displace the trachea. But you know how we can find it? So I want to look up ikor and jastro. Chigstrig. Ikor simanim kosher. So we say, chaya, he says, Ein Shida of Min Torah. It says V'shafach. It talks about the spilling of the blood on the floor, and then the kasa, and then the kiseyu ba'afar, and you cover it up with afar. Oh, is there tabs back there?
Okay. I know there's somewhere. Should I check outside?
No, there's outside. No. Just there was here somewhere. Okay, if it's not, it doesn't matter. Don't check outside. Keep looking in the gesture, please. So we see this pasuk in Vayikra about Shabbat, about Shfichas Hadam. Vayikra Yud Zayin Yud Gimel. Vayidber Nebo Shalimor, Bnei Israel. דבר שציווה, or each אשר ישחט שור או כסף או עז. שכאי. שור או כסף או עז במחנה, או אשר ישחט מחוץ למחנה. The person out of Chemos. The Pesach o Moed lo Eviu. And this is Yud Gimel we're looking for. The each Bnei Israel is a Gerek Kusocham Yatsud Tzed Chayav o Of. Asher Yerav v'Shavach Damo v'Chiseu be'Afar. Ki nefesh kol basar damo v'nafsho. Nefesh kol basar, it says his blood is in the nefesh. Sometimes it says blood is the nefesh, but here it says that the blood bin nafsho. V'omer l'bnei Yisrael dam kol basar lo tochelu. Ki nefesh kol basar damo hi. Kol ochlav yikares. She's eating yikares. Okay. So we have the pasuk of Kisei Adam from Parshas Acharei Mais. Okay, so we're in the Gemara, and the Gemara says, I would think Shvicha Ba'alma is enough. So we say, if Shvicha Ba'alma is enough because it says V'shachav, so then also a Chaya. So we said, no, the Chaya is Itkish the Psule HaMukdashim. Now, we're going to see this, the Psule HaMukdashim was compared to a Tzvi and Ayil. Right, so let's do Rashi. Because I read on the Kama Mishmaisim, I think it's going to say later in our Sugya. Magish Tzvi v'Ayil. It's compared, a Tzvi and Ayil is compared to Pesulei HaMukdashin. Pesulei HaMukdashin is the is the kachim that became puzzle. Oh, so actually, I wasn't paying attention to the page. How do I change the background on the computer? I'm not ready to yet, but now that I'm paying attention to it.
Just open Google Chrome. Right there. And then just click that tab and it'll go.
It'll change?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just don't minimize the screen. You just click on that. Yeah, leave it.
Okay.
And you're good.
Okay. Shkach. So, as you can see on the board, on the screen, so it's compared to Psuya Mukdashin. So we say, but if you're telling me that an animal is compared, Tzvi and the Ayil is compared to Psuya Mukdashin, so the chicken, the bird, is compared to an animal. And if an animal is compared to Psuya Mukdashin, then they need Shchita from the neck. We got to clarify that with the Tzvi and the Ayil. Nema ein hakesh l'mechsa. So we say the bird is compared to an animal. Say that there's got to be a complete comparison when we're comparing them. It's got to be a complete comparison. The salik minay. So tichsiv zos Torah sabehema ve'of haksiv v'shachavech as dama. But we have to apply, says Bar Kapara, or says Rabbi Yitzchak ben Pinchas. We have to apply it in one way. We got to apply in one way we got to apply the spilling of the blood, and that the spilling of the blood is only the spilling of the blood. And so we'll apply it to the bird, right? So where it says my chaz is, why does it seem to you that like, oh, you're just gonna do it to a bird? My chaz is. So it says the salik minay because the bird was the last thing mentioned. They mentioned chaya and of tishboch. Salik minay of asher yachel, right? Kol chayav, kol of asher yachel. It says ish mibnei Israel minay ger gar b'saycham, yid, convert, living amongst them, that catches an animal or a bird that you can eat, spill its blood, cover it with doyet. So, Grom, Shalom.
Chatem.
Baruch Hashem, lomdim al kol minei chayot.
You got pants on there.
Yeah.
Over here. Okay. Sababa tov, toda rabah. So Ketzaru Oseh. It means Shochev in his navla biyad hanocher umaaker pater. Those Torahs are behema ve'achaya. So we have the comparison. So maybe say that the bird also gets shchita, but it says that he spills blood. Spilling his blood is enough. How do you know it's talking about a bird? Say it's talking about the animal, spilling the animal's blood enough. It makes sense to say it's talking about the bird because the verse just said bird, last thing it mentioned. Okay. Meisvei. So the Gemara is going to challenge this assertion of Rabbi Yitzchak ben Pinchas. Rabbi Yehuda said in the name of Rabbi Yitzchak ben Pinchas that ain't shchita za'ov min ha-Torah. Shenemar v'shavach b'shvicha ba'alma sagi. It's enough with just the shvicha. Iyadi also chaya. So chaya itkish l'psuya mukdashin. What about the bird also compared to the behema? No, because it's written that the shvicha alone is enough. So how do I know to say that? A bird say that. The animal, no, the bird was the last thing is mentioned. Meisvei. The Gemara brings a challenge. Hashochet v'nis nabla biyado. So someone who shechts and it's nisnabla biyado, it becomes a nevela. He does a bad shechting. The salik mine that it just left from the bird. The last thing it mentions says, if we saw it. V'nisnabla biyado shalom midas. So it was an accident. What? Yeah.
Tearing loose, the windpipe and gullet.
Oh, that's what I was saying. Is misplacing.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Just learning.
Chulin 27a quoted, so it's close to a Jastro.
27A, we're on 27B.
Yeah.
We just did 27A.
It's considered like a It's like.
Well, we weren't looking it up from Jastro. But where did it said in Chulin 27A, that was where it quoted what Ikor is?
It quotes it, yeah. 27, it says 44A, 9A, and 27A.
Okay, so there's a lot of, 9A, I said we saw this, so yeah, we just saw it. We'll see it more.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Shkaya. So, what happens if this guy's shechting, right? V'niznabla biyado. He messed up by accident. Hanocher v'hama'aker. So comma. Or the guy who does the nose slaughter. Or the guy who does he's trying to do shchita, but he accidentally dislodges one of the pipes before he gets to do the shchita. Midas, I mean, he does that on purpose.
Oh, wow.
So Pater milachazos. Iamart eid shchita laof. If you're saying that there's no shchita for the chicken, midiraisa nechira zo I shchita zo. So then the nechira would be the shchita for it, and so it should need kisui. Pater milachazos. Dasher ye achel ksiv. You're only doing it on things that you eat. Right? And so you would be allowed to eat it after doing a pasul shchita to it, but you wouldn't need to do a shchita to it, so you still need to do the kisoy. Answers the Gemara a very obvious answer. Who says that Mishnah, or that brisa that you just challenged me on, was talking about a bird? I'll tell you, it was talking about a chaya, about an animal. And then, so, libay kizoy, ksiva kizoy, anachira, biyadei, mechidezi, why do you say he's butter? Misavar be'ovkai, bechayakai. It's going on the chaya, on the animal. The kizoy didei ki ksiv achshara, that its kizoy is only when it becomes kosher. Ksiv v'achshara didei shchiti, and the shchita for it needs to be achshara. So that's only talking about a chaya. Tashma, okay, here was a challenge. So they brought one price, and now maybe they bring another price. They come in here, this challenge, this price, but maybe the reason they're bringing is for a different reason. We got to see Tashma Hashoch if it's Arach the Dam. What about if a person? I mean, I don't know. Why would he need the blood?
That was going to be my shadow.
Why would he need the blood? Anyone think it? Why a person would need blood?
What's the scenario, doctor?
He's shechting it. He just wants the blood of the animal. What does he want the blood for? Ah, so Rivka says maybe for like the color of it. Maybe you can't eat it obviously.
But if the blood is in a shama, how can you use it for anything other than give it back to Hashem? I mean, in humans, we have what's called transfusions from one life to save another life.
Right.
With shechting animals, does that exist? No.
Well,
Yeah.
what other purpose could the blood of an animal be used for other than like die for like what like let's say a non-Jew wants to buy the blood of an animal, would there be a reason that a non-Jew?
Yeah, blood sausages, there's recipes, but not forbidden.
There's recipes, blood sausages.
Yeah.
That sounds Tartarian.
He's like, blood
Yeah.
sausages, not that.
Yeah, blood sausages.
Yeah. It's rice and blood and yeah.
Rice and blood.
Bro.
Oh my God, rice and blood. Yick.
Flashing back to the pig's feet in the jar, sitting on the counter, right?
They like to make blood tartar.
Tartar. So let's see. He needs the blood. Ashogei v'tzarech l'dam. Zog Rashi. Ashogei. Davar tzarech kisoy. Something. I mean, kosher animal. V'tzarech l'dam. Rashi just says kid mefarish, like we will explain. But there is a footnote here in the goose. It says tzarech loziv lemilachto. He needs it for his business. I don't know. What if he's a farmer and blood? Could blood ever be good for like growing crops? What business? I'm just throwing out questions here.
It's a good question, bro.
What business? He needs it for his malacha. It says that goes Latziunim. I'm willing to continue blabbing. Kate Adu Osa. How does he do? Oh no, grow. Either do an ikor on purpose or do an achira. So says the Gemara, my love be'ovtika baile lidame. Isn't it that we need the chicken blood? And there's right liyanika for yanika or a liyaniva, or it could be a yaniva. And it says Lo b'chay dekabay l'dame l'lacha. Okay, so we have two reasons why you might need the blood. One is for Yanika / Yaniva, and one is for lacha. Let's see the Rashi. My love be'oif. We're not talking about a bird here. Kai shari damo ra'oi liyanika l'tola'as. Hagadala b'bigdei tzemer. So you use it to do something to a worm that grows in clothing of wool. Shekorin tinia. Kidichsev, like it says, kebeged ochlu ash. The beged, like a beged that's eaten by a moth. V'ka'amar nochro. V'yiftor mina kisoy. So the Gemara says that you do the nechira, and then you're putter from doing the kisoy, and then you can use the blood. V'i ein shchita le'of, and if there's not shchita to a bird, no sro tzarech kisoy sizoi shchitaso. But if you don't have to do a shchita dafka to a bird, so if you do a nose to heart cut, you would still have to cut it because that was the proper way to prepare a bird. So so one reason you might need blood is maybe to get out this little maggot that is going to become a fly.
That's what linika means.
Linika,
Means to get out.
l'chayra is to get rid of. We can look at that word up. I've never seen that word l'chayra, and it's also could say yaniva. The other one is l'lacha. Wow, l'lacha l'tzeva or adom. So that was what Rivka said. That Zakt Rashi, just Zakt Rashi, Tsava or Adom, you want it to be able to make red, to have a red color, to color the skins. It's called parka. Okay, so let's first see tinia. They said mecharmezes begadim. It's clothing worm. You know, ever see a clothing worm?
Silkworm.
Silkworm. Is it in clothing?
Eventually, the silk gets woven into cloth. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm talking about a bug that is foreign to the clothing that comes in. And we're not talking about silky. We're talking about cotton. Not cotton. Tzemer.
You said wool before.
I said wool before. Yeah, wool. Shakorin tinia. So the name of the bug is called tinia. And tseva or adom, that's called parka, is a type of red skin. Okay, let's see that one again. Tashma, someone who shechts and he needs the blood. He has to do kisui. So what do? You do nechira or you do akira. So are we talking about a bird that you need its blood to get rid of the maggots, the moth maggots? Lo, we're talking about an animal, and we need its blood for coloring. So you can't prove from that case that oaf doesn't need. Well, you can't prove from that case that oaf must need shrita. Because maybe that Mishnah is only talking about an animal. Okay. Tashma, another brisa. Malak bisachin. So you do an improper malika. You don't use your fingernail. You don't use your teeth. You use a knife. Mitame begadim abeis habilia. He is mitame begadim, clothing on the beis habilia. On, like when you swallow it, when you swallow the chicken and non-properly shechted chicken. But tell me when you swallow it. House of Swallows. Bibes habilia. If you're saying that there's no shchita la'of, minatayra deraisa nay, granted, nami also dechi tavar le shadera, and you break the neck and the back, havia le trefa, it becomes a trefa. Tihani la sachin etara midei nevela. But maybe the knife is going to say that, yeah, it's trefa, it's not kosher, but maybe it will become a nevela, which is like a higher level of dead animal. We have trefa and we have nevela. So let's see Rashi. Rashi says malak of kachim, right? A bird of kachim. If you do malika with a knife, nevela. The ein malika ela b'tziporen, because you can't do malika. The ein malika ela b'tziporen, so it becomes a nevela. So the Gemara says, granted that when you break the neck and the back below row of basar, I remember the sikhi below row of basar, without the majority of meat, like it says in Berakama, Chaf Amid Aleph, Havir Treifa, it becomes a Treifa, Mishum Tisachin Lav Malika. So okay, it becomes a Treifa, it doesn't become a kosher animal. Malika was not good with a knife. But Tihani La Sachin, Shechotech simanim la'achar shenitrafa, that cuts the simanim after it becomes a treifa, but the knife still did cut the simanim. Nitara midei nevela. It shouldn't go down to the level of nevela. Nitara midei nevela. Dehat treifa sheshachta eina mitameha. Because a treifa that was shechted does not make impure. If it's just a treifa, but it was shechted, it does not render someone impure. Nechirazo zoi shchitazo. Ve'od. A lot of notes here. Ve'od. Ve'of. Oh, that's a big difference. Ve'od means, and furthermore, ve'of means, and boyd. Ve'of, and when it comes to a bird, nechirazo zohi shchitazo. According to what Itchy Pincus wanted to tell us, Itchy Phineas, that when you cut, the oaf doesn't shchita deraisa, and the chirazo is the shchita, the har shchita min ha'orev bein shehu machlid, bein shehu dores, and shchita from the back of the neck, whether he's stabbing, or it's chalad, stabbing you in between the two pipes instead of cutting them both, you're stabbing in between the two pipes. The od nechirazo machlid bein shehu dores, right? Also, or if you lop from the back of the neck. Kedarina barak gama, like we said in the first barak. Mikomago, in any event, lo gra'a minechira. It's not worse if you use a knife. It's not worse than nechira v'tarfa, and he makes it a treifa. Mia havi, it's a treifa. Demoda Rabbi Yitzchak, where Rabbi Yitzchak agrees sheyesh treifas la'of, that there is treifas, a treifa of an oath in parak elu treifas ba'of, right? In parak it says elu treifas ba'of. The ein kosher bo ela nechira, and the only thing that's kosher and to do to it is nechira, shehi b'simanim, because nechira is still with the simanim. The ksiv v'shafach, and you spill it. O ikur, or you displace it. Avahariga ba'alma, but if you just kill it, lo, not. Hu Amar, right? So we asked 3 questions on Rabbi Yitzchak. And we said, look, you do malika with the knife. It's mitame the begadim, meaning it becomes an avela. Why not say it's a treifa, but not yet an avela, because the knife did cut the simanim. So it seems to be from that brisa that a bird needs shchita deoraisa, and the reason that it becomes a treifa is because you did a bad shchita to it. You went from the back. Okay, I mean, you did bad malika to it, bad shchita. It didn't work. Even even though you cut the things, but it needs a shchita. I didn't get it. And so it's an avela, not just a treifa. And so that's a kasha on Rabbi Yitzchak bar ben Pinchas, because Rabbi Yitzchak ben Pinchas is a Amora, and we just brought 3 brisas which blew him out of the water. The first 2 he was able to explain, but the last one he didn't even try. He's like, "You got me." But the Gemara says, but he's saying ki hai tana. He's saying like another tana, meaning it's a machlokas tanaim. It's not that he's arguing on the brisas. He's just saying the opinion that already exists in tanaim. He's saying like this tana. Ditanya, because it says in the Brisa, Rabbi Elazar HaKapar Berebi Omer. We said Berebi. We've seen Berebi. Berebi means he's a big Talmud Chacham. Rashi says over here, Berebi Gadol Bedoro. He's one of the greats. He's a great in his generation. You know? He's Alexander Ovechkin. He's Gretzky. He's Gordie Howe. These are all the greats in their respective generation. And Ovechkin got a shout out and share today because he just broke the scoring record.
He originated the hat trick.
I don't know if he originated that. So he's saying Rabbi Yitzchak ben Pinchas is saying like that Tana that says Oaf doesn't have Shechita Deraisa. He's not saying his own opinion, Rabbi Yitzchak ben Pinchas, because then he would get obliterated by Brisas, which say different than him. You know? Like the one rule in Amoraim school you learn the first day is no arguing on Mishnayos. So, right? So what's he doing? Arguing on Mishnah? No, he's saying like a different Tana. Like Eliezer HaKapar, Berebi. Remember Berebi? We saw Berebi means Rashi says Gadol B'doro. He's one of the greats. Eliezer Kaepernick. And he says the great Amar Ma Talmud Lomar. What is the Gemara trying to teach us? Ma Talmud Lomar. Ach kasher yochal et hatzvi. But the way that you eat the tzvi and the ayil, that you should eat this tameh, this chulin. So malamanu mitzvi v'ayil. So what do we learn? What do we learn tzvi v'ayil? This is a shas phrase. I have to see if I'm pronouncing those words right. It might be Balaluma and Nimsa Alimaid or something, you know? So we got to see. Ach kasher yachel. B'psule ha-mukdashim shenivdu b'mamonam kai. Everyone's saying Psule ha-mukdashim Shmuel. Tell me what it is already. And I said gladly because we just saw the pasuk. We had to get klar. So this is the Psule ha-mukdashim, the mysterious invalid korbanos. We see it in 11:22, 12:22. We spent like a lot of this year looking for it. Okay, 12:20 tigs over here and over there. So it says Ach kasher yeachel es hatzvi. There's a ayil kein tochlu atave v'ataor yachtav. Okay. So what do we learn from there? So this pasuk is talking about Psulei HaMukdashim. How do we know it's talking about Psulei HaMukdashim? We see Rashi. You don't have to eat it b'tara. So if you're going to say I, but a deer and a ram, their chelev is mutter. Av kol chulin chava mutter. So you want to say that everything is chelev mutter. Talmud lomar ach. Right? The ach is a miyut here. Okay. So it's talking about Psulei HaMukdashim. Well, here it just seems to be talking about. Here it just seems to be talking about chulin, regular old chulin. So why does Rashi say that we're talking about Psulei HaMukdashim here? He says, "Malamanu mitziva ayos rachi ach." Taveh v'ator yachtav, eat them together. Ma psulei hamukdashim b'shchita d'le'el me'ahukra ksiv v'zavachta mi'b'karecha. Above that verse it says, and you shechted from your bakar. Where? V'zavachta. So this is Parshas Re'eh. V'zamachta v'nei Hashem. V'makom asher yivchar b'Hashem. Again, if the makom that Hashem is going to choose, Be'echad Shvatecha, turned out to be Binyamin, right? Sham ta'aleh olosecha v'sham ta'aleh es asher anoti mitzavecha. They bring the olas and what I command you. Rak b'kol tavas nafshecha tizbach. Anything you want to zvicha. V'achalta basar kevirkas Hashem. Kevirkas Hashem. Elohecha asher adalach b'chol she'arecha tameh ve'atahor. Rak adam lo tochelu, don't eat the blood, spill it on the ground. Lo tuchal lecho b'sha'arecha. Meiser diganecha v'siroshcha v'yisarecha v'korcha v'choros v'karcha v'tzoncha v'chon nidarecha asher titor unidvosecha v'srumas yadecha. It's a pasuk I hope to learn by heart one day. So where is this Psulei HaMukdashin? Rashi says, it says, V'zavachnu v'karecha b'sifri garsinan makish tzvi v'ayol lebehema. So tzvi v'ayol is compared to every other animal. Ma behema b'shchita, just like the animal you have to check. V'lo mugi la'ikra d'chiyarchiv b'psulei HaMukdashin. And we don't establish to this pasuk of kiyarchiv talking about B'sulei HaMukdashin El Basar Taiva Shachulin. So we thought that it's talking about Basar Taiva Shachulin, right? And we saw this pasuk Ki Yarchiv, when Hashem expands your gavul, Kasher Diber Lach V'Yamart, and you said Achla Basar, we're going to eat meat Kitava Nafshecha Lecho Basar, because we want to eat meat. Because Avas Nafshecha Tocha Basar, eat it. We think this means you can eat basar taiva. But when they talk about Psulei HaMukdashin, the Gemara, it could be that some people wanted to learn that this pasuk is talking about Psulei HaMukdashin. Not that you can just eat food, but you can eat the food that you originally were sanctified to Hashem, but it became invalid. And so you somehow take the kedusha in it and you put it on a different animal, and now that animal is now chulin. It's called Psulei HaMukdashin. So he says, Rabbi Elazar Kapar. What does he say? He says, Matav Lobar Ach Kasher Yochal Et Tzvi V'Chima Lamadnu Mitzvi V'Ayo. What do we learn from the Tzvi and the Ayo Me'ata? Hari Zebal Lamed V'Nim Tzalamed. It's coming to teach, and it's found that it's teaching. Says Rashi, it's come to teach, and it's come that it's taught. Magish tzvi v'ayol l'psulei HaMukdashin. Compare an animal to this, right? Like just a regular animal to this animal which used to be kodesh and then it got invalid. Ma psulei HaMukdashin b'shchita. Just like those psulei HaMukdashin you do b'shchita. As tzvi v'ayol, so also chulin you do b'shchita. V'of ein lo shchita midivrei Torah ela midivrei seifrim. And that's with the tzvi and ayol. We learn tzvi and ayol need shchita because they're compared to Psulei HaMukdashin. But bird is not compared to Psulei HaMukdashin, and therefore it doesn't need shchita, only midirabanan, according to this opinion of Rabbi Elazar Kapar. So, okay, who's the guy who argues on Rabbi Elazar Kapar? The Gemara asks. Who's the guy who argues on it? It's Rebbe. Because Rebbe says, V'zavachta kasher tzivisicha, and you shecht it like you were commanded. This is in Devarim Yud Beis Chaf Aleph. Ki yirchak.
I'm a little confused.
Ki yarchiv and ki yirchak. We have two psukim. One is when Hashem expands, and one is when you're too far to eat basar taiva. What's a little confusing?
How could the confusion is? Didn't we just say Rabbi Lazar Hakapar Bir Rebbe Oimer?
No. We had Berebi. Rivka, what's Berebi?
Like that's taught by the road. The gadol of the.
So Berebi, we saw. So it's okay. We saw this in Beitza. That when it's called someone Berebi, it's like a name. It's like, oh, great one. And so Rashi here says Gadol Yisrael, not son of Rebbe.
Ah, okay, thank you. But okay, so so then the confusion remains that Rabbi Lazar Hakapar
Yeah.
Bir Rebbe, he's saying according to the Shita of Rebbe.
No, that's not what Berebi means. Berebi just means Adam Gadol.
I'm sorry, so he's saying according to the Shita of Adam Gadol.
No,
No.
that's just saying. It's Rabbi Lazar is saying his Shita. That's just his nickname.
Oh, he is the Adam Gadol.
He is Berebi.
And Rebbe is arguing on him.
Yeah, and Rebbe is
Or he's
arguing
arguing on Rebbe.
Rebbe's arguing at him.
Rebbe
Yehuda Nasi argues that Rebbe Lazar Hakapar.
Uh-huh.
It is a little confusing that they call him Berebi, you call him Barbie, but that just it's like Rebbe Lazar Hakapar Berebi. Like wow, he's what a gadol.
Got it. Thank you.
Welcome. And so he says, "V'zavachta kasher tzivisicha," that Hashem commanded. Midlamed shet nitztavel Moshe. So we learn from there that Moshe got commanded. Kasher tzivisicha. Kasher tzivisicha sagt Rashi over here. V'zavachta kasher tzivisicha lamdenu sheyesh tzivoy b'zvachim heich yishchot. There's a tzivoy commandment in Zvicha. How do you shecht? These are the halachas of shchita that were said to Moshe Rabbeinu at Har Sinai. Be. Sometimes it says halacha Moshe mi Sinai. Here we have halacha Moshe bis Sinai. That's the best one. You know, Sinai didn't tell him anything. That was the location. Okay.
What's the difference? They're both the oral law.
Yeah, but Miss Sinai implies like from Sinai, that like Sinai, the mountain itself was teaching Moshe. But Bis Sinai is like just the location that these halacha that Moshe got in the location of Sinai that Hashem taught him.
Oral law from Hashem to Moshe to
Mhm.
Levine.
It doesn't say the Levim. It says to Nevi'im. Moshe speak about Torah. So Bis Sinai or Mi Sinai? You say either one. Moshe got Torah at Har Sinai from Hashem Yisbarach, passed it to the Zikanim to the Nevi'im to Anshe Knesset HaGedolah. V'hem amru shlosha dvarim. Yeah,
How did you know that I wanted to say something?
you saw.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Gabriel brought that exact Mishnah. Pirkei Avos last night. He said he's learning Pirkei Avos in jail. And he said,
Should be freed.
Amen. He said that what were they Makabel, the Nevi'im from Moshe and the Anshe Knesset Gedolim, the Zikanim, and he said Reishis Chach Yiras Hashem, that they were Makabel the Yira, that it was the Yiras Hashem that they were Makabel because that was what allowed them to uphold the tenets of the Torah to be able to remember them.
All right, Reishis Chachma here is Hashem. I hear. All right. Ovi. So man tana til el de gedari nochro o okro. Hold on. So Rebbe Lazar Kapar, son of Rebbe. Just kidding. Rebbe Lazar Kapar, not son of Rebbe, just some guy. They called him Berebi because that means that like he's a great person. We've seen that in other places where they call someone Berebi or Barbie. So he says he holds that oaf midiraisa doesn't need shchita, but Rebbe says so we see that Moshe was commanded on the veshet and the kanet and the rov echad and the rov shtayim of behema. All of this stuff Allah Moshe misinai.
Wow.
We go and we see a Rambam. Come let us see here the Rambam, known for his beauty, splendor, and grace. The band. Okay, so the bam. Bum 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 bum. Aleph Dalid Shrita. So Aleph Dal, it says Vichas Omer Torah Stam Tzarich Lefaresh, right? It says in the Torah Stam we got to explain. Oh, sorry, to know what is a makom in a behema shoichdin. Is it shiur, right? Is it this? Is it that? All the different things. What place they're doing? What's the amount of the shchita? With what can you use to do the shchita? When can you do the shchita? How do you do the shchita? Or where do you do the shchita? And how do you do the shchita? Umazah devar. What are the 5 things that invalidate the shchita? Mizah shochet. Who can do the shchita? Ve'al kol dvarim ha'elu tzivanu b'Torah ve'amar v'zavachta mi b'karecha. It says in the Torah, this pasuk, v'zavachta mi b'karecha kasher tzivisicha v'yachalta b'sharecha. It's pasuk in Re'eh, I think. That you shech, like I commanded you, and you eat in your gates. Shekol dvarim ha'elu al peh tziva b'hen kishar Torah shabal peh. Sheyeh nikreis mitzvah. K'moshe be'eru b'techila chivor hazeh. That's what's called a mitzvah. Okay. Ve'ilchos shchita b'chulan is achasi. Levi'ach ashochet behema, someone who shechts an animal or a chaya or an oaf or a bird, he blesses and makes a bracha. Shek sham tatzman al shchita. Ve'im lo birech bein b'shogi ve'im amazed, it's still mutter. The reason it's mutter is because the bracha is not me'akiv. Ve'azer lecho min hashchuta kol zman shu mefarcheses, the time that he's shaking around. If you eat it before its soul comes out, below it's a lav. You clean it, you salt it, and then you can eat it. Okay. So it seems that we hold that it's a oaf also. The Rambam takes it as davar pasha, right? Mitzvah aseh sheyishchol kol mi sheyirtze le'echol basar of behema, chaya, and oaf, and because right, shenemar v'zavachta mibikarecha u'mitzonecha v'nemar b'chor balmum. The b'chor balmum, that's the pesulei hamukdashin, right? And it says about b'chor balmum, it says ach kasher yochel asavasar b'tzvi. Halumar chaya is like a behema in shchita. And by bird it says asher yatsud tzayid chaya o of. V'shavach es damo. Learning about the shvichas adam in Vayikra. V'shavach es damo. It says of v'shachar melamed shvichas damo of k'shvichas dam achaya. So the Rambam Paskin says deoraisa that a bird needs shchita. That's how it comes out in our sugya.
Wow.
Okay, the deoraisa bird needs shchita. So is deoraisa? Is it fleshix?
Oh. Schwer, wenn ich mir
Over here. Over there. So oh wow. Okay, we have like 7 minutes left in shir. Tomorrow we'll go weiter. New sugya, hudugya. Today we will spend a little time looking into this bird sugya. Oh, by the way, I totally forgot to change the page, but it doesn't matter because no one's watching. B'shvicha ba'alma. We said that according to Rav Yitzchak ben Pinchas, it's enough to just spill it out, you know. It's enough to just spill the blood of the animal. V'afilu Rabbi Meir, says Tosfos, like Tosfos, Alma, like Tosfos, the Hiliga. V'afilu Rabbi Meir, even according to Rabbi Meir, the Aleph Lekava and the Perek Kisei Adam that he's going to learn later in Perek Kisei Adam. So there's a whole Perek talking about covering blood. The that a shchita that wasn't a proper shchita is still called shchita. The gamar shvicha misho shchute chutz. So we learn a gezer shava says shvicha over here, spill over here. It's a shvicha over there by shchute chutz, which is when you shecht it outside the Beis Hamikdash. Mikol makom in nikres yotze in a mikra yotze midi pshuto. In any event, you could take it the interpretation of what it means that it says the oath and the shvicha. So that's why he learns it. Even according to Rabbi Meir, he says that shchita is not. It's still called a shvicha. It's still, in the end of the day, like the pashtus of the thing that's like a bird, he spills blood. So, okay, interesting Tosfos over there. There's another Tosfos, and then I'm going to skip. And there's another Tosfos that we're going to see. And it's Rebbe. The second Tosfos on Chav Chesam and Aleph. It says Rebbe, Titania. It's Rebbe. Who is the guy who argues in Rebbe Lazar Kapar? It's Rebbe. Havamati Lememar Bar Kapara. Oh, let's go.
Wow.
Remember I said Kapara, I don't know, it was Bar Kapara, same guy. Says Tosfos, they could have said this is Bar Kapara. Ella denicha leukmi. Let's actually see before I start myself. I'm just excited to get the evidence. Ella denicha leukmi mishnayis de leel kirebi. They like to say that it's like Rebbe. Hiksher Rabbeinu Ephraim. Dehach Rabbeinu Ephraim asked Dehachas for Leila Rebbe. That Rebbe holds here. Rebbe holds the yesh shchita laof min haTorah. That shchita of the chicken is deraisa. Birds are so. Beparak misha amar any nazir. If you would have bothered to open up the Maseches Nazir. Vishama chavero. Someone says I'm a nazir, and his friend hears Amar Ani, and his friend says, and I. That's all he said though. Didn't explain anything else. So. Ka'amar Gabi Plugza the Rebbe v'Rabbanan, according to the argument of Rebbe and the Rabbanan, the majority. The Kuli Alma, everyone, the whole world, Kidei Lechancho b'mitzvos. Everyone says, he's doing it, in order to teach him mitzvahs. Chinuch. V'im kein l'Rebbe haka achil kohen malika. And if so, to Rebbe, so now the kohen is eating malika. The Hakanami parich le'el, because here also they're asking above minei from it. Leman da'amar, according to the guy who says that the reason you're doing it is to teach him to do mitzvos ka'achil kohen malika, so the kohen is going to eat malika once. Umeshani, and we answered, kasavar ein shchita la'ov min haTorah. We say no, there's no question. Rebbe holds that there's no shchita of the oath d'oraisa. But Rebbe ikal l'shinui hachi. Rebbe, Leka l'shinuyei hachi. Rebbe, you can't answer here. If kain tikshi v'afilu yachzir simanin. So if that's the case, then ask, and even if the siman goes into the back, v'yolich v'yevi, and he does the proper molich umevi, neveli, it's still nevela the Rebbe debai shchita b'talosh, because Rebbe needs. When you do this in shechta, it's got to be something that is not connected. Malika with the net with the fingernail. Where do we learn that out from? From Avram Avini. When he was shechting Yitzchak, he took the knife. It's got to be something that you can take, not connected to the ground still. Furthermore, the Mad Amar Machzir. Because Amar Molich Umevi b'Malika puzzle, he holds that to do this way in Malika is not good. You have to do down. In Malika puzzle, Dibainan Acher Lo Mitukma Masnisin. The Parakama. The Nimtza Kasher B'Shchita. Because it was found to be because it was the imkain avale dores. If that's the case, it was just lopping over here. The yesh lomar, and you can answer those hasn't been nazir over there in nazir dichuya be'alma, which they're just stomp pushing them away. Because from there you couldn't infer that the Avi Plugsa, the Tanoi, that there's really a Machlokas Tanaim over here. Iyalachahu ben Nazir, if it's a halacha in Nazir, Kedei Lechancha, or to teach him, right? The guy who says, and me also. So is it just to teach him, or is it like a Hachos Nader in the zeros? Aval mikomagom emezu the Rebbe savar the halacha who ben Nazir. Rebbe holds that it's the halacha, maybe halacha Moshe B'Sinai in Nazir. Kevan the savar the yesh shchita la'of min Torah, since he holds that there is shchita on a bird. Teoraisa inami kasavar kedei lechancha, or Rebbe holds that it's in order to just teach him. Umevichata sa'of ve'eno ne'echal midi. So he brings the chatas, the bird chatas, doesn't eat it at all. The hava chatas sa'of haba safek, because it's chatas sa'of that comes on a safek. Okay, so a little chazah. Today we learned more about this idea. We saw that really it's a machlokas tanayim, whether or not oaf needs shchita deraisa. Machlokas Rebbe and Rebbe Yehuda and Rebbe Lazar Kapar. The question that we still have is, so the guy who says that it's deraisa needs shchita, does he also say that it's fleshik's deraisa? We still don't know we still haven't seen the answer to that. But the guy who says that doesn't even need shchita deraisa, obviously he would say this is power of have it with malk, have it with moot, do what you want.
Right.
Okay. And I can see by the dime in the wall that it's time to wish to one and all goodbye. Farewell. So long. Adieu. Be good. Be chill. Stay smiling. Adieu, mambu. Goodbye until we meet again.